Hello everyone, welcome back in the world of runes. So how is your experimenting going with runes, with different runes, maybe script, maybe bind runes? I would like to know about it, but today let's get to some harvest with the Jera and then EIHWAZ. Let's get some insight with EIHWAZ. And maybe let's direct our destiny with Perdo and get some AlGIZ protection. And maybe we even get to Sowillo today. Let's start. Let's see. And I invite you. Sorry, I just made a video in Polish language, so I can make it. I can make it in English. Just stay with me and correct me if I'm wrong. So first rune Jera for today, and today also I am trying to be with the colors of the rune, so blue goes with Jera. This is my first rune I ever painted. Looks more or less like this, and it's like originally later on it was slightly hidden here. And of course some of the paintings I will make whatever I can to find moment in time to upload some of the paintings to my store, so you can download in a digital art directly and you can print it the way you want it, how you want it, small, big, however you need it, or you can paint yourself. So Jera, it's a letter J for Jera, and active time is for everyone born between 6th of May and 20th of May, or the second source, as we do here. I give you two sources, is stated 13th of December till 28th of December. Literal meaning means the good year, harvest in all the Gothic, Germanic, Old English and Norse. But you can also meet with Jera or Jer, Yer, Ger, Ar, means year, good season, the harvest. So the keywords are the solar year, rich harvest, the fruitful year, season, completion, fruitfulness, harmony, return, life cycle, the marriage of heaven and earth, auspicious time, right time, success, reward, creativity. And color, of course, blue, black, green, brown, yellow, red. Tree, hazel, black, lilac, oak. Direction, south, east, meaning in Feng Shui prosperity. So before, when I was speaking at the very beginning about Fecho, Urus, I was explaining about experimenting with Feng Shui, so I'm not going to get into that. We're just going to keep going with the runes. But if you didn't watch the previous videos about runes, please go back to my very first, because I'm giving you additional tips. And not all of that is repeated each time, but in the beginning I try to make sure that you get the idea about it. So element is earth, matter, material property, collection of the harvest from your work, and I underline that, work. This is not a rune for lazy people. This means work, harvest from working, positive satisfying outcome from long-term projects, efforts, satisfying income from efforts, prosperity by own efforts, I repeat, protects works and efforts. Person, profession, farmer, businessman, person related to funds, architect. Relationships, so it's all kind of new connections with people, not necessarily deep, but you meet a lot of people with that role. Health, stabilizes pressure, regenerates muscles, bones, especially spine, harmonizes with the natural cycles, heals and strengthens the cardiovascular system, regulates the biological clock. And it is amulet, which means protection from loss, disease, or any disease of the digestive tract, and talisman for all creative people, artists, inventors, because of course it brings you reward, recognition, and foresight. So it's more working with the cycles of the nature, cycles, phases of our life within ourselves. Reverse rune, so that energy won't be in balance, means conflict with the law, wrong time, poor planning, blind activity, loss through omission, neglecting, untruthfulness. And you know, every rune has also reverse meaning. Some people say you cannot reverse certain runes, but when you actually work with divination and depending on the cards around you, you can interpret the rune as a reversed. So that's up to you. Experiment with that. If you learn that, if you're learning how to read the runes, how to feel them, experiment with it and check with your reality, of course. So use it for a culmination of efforts over a very long period of time. So months, a year, they say usually a year. And remember, why AlGIZ represents a sudden action leading to success. Raido is related with a daily path. Jera requires much more time. So it's really, you use it for a longer project, one full circle. So minimum like several months, 1 year minimum. And go slowly and the results will be also long term. So that's the reward. It is also related to Sowillo. We hopefully will be talking about it today. Archetypal sun. Archetypal in Polish language, by the way. So properly used, it will bring you concepts, your concepts into material world, into manifestation, and Jera has nothing to do with moral actions, but it has to do a lot with organic, natural law, organic process, and so the action required for Jera, it has to be right. It has to be right kind of acting in order to get the right reward. Otherwise, it's going to be reversed wrong. Otherwise it just leads to enslavement, conflict, and poverty. I don't really know how many of you will be ever interested in carving and coloring the rune. I made some mistakes previously, but with the carving, of course. But what I've learned is, and please let me know about it, because maybe you have a different experience. I try to also always like follow, to give you the right kind of prescription, follow the book of Dr. Jason Cooper, and he describes, I never saw that in any other books, but before I knew that, I also was projecting or, you know, casting runes without that knowledge, knowing, and it was working for me. So perfectly, you will be perfectly probably fine if you are not knowing exactly how to carve it. But if you are very, very curious about it, I didn't find the right carving, the right coloring for it. Let me not distract you from other runes. So now it's really a lot of that. So if you're really interested, make a stop here and try to just draw it for yourself if you are really interested. And carving and coloring looks like it's the same here. Although, please check that information because I'm not really sure I understood that. So it is a little bit weird because you start from the upper one down, then the other one goes up. Here, number 2, I hope this is visible because when I show you to the camera, I see the opposite. So I cannot read what I drew here. Okay, so that was the first rune, Jera, for today. It is number 12 in the futark. So let's move to EIHWAZ, which is number 13, and phonetic value for that is A-E. Sorry, in English it's E-I, so it's 2 letters. Active time, 5th of October till 19th of October, or 28th of December till 13th of January. I know these 2 sources are confusing. So this is my first painted rune, looks more or less like that. And when later on I started to experiment more in my art, so I hid it in a tree, and you will know very, very soon why it is connected with the tree, because it means you tree. So that is the literal meaning of it. And you can also hear EIHWAZ, EOH, Ivar. That means also mountain ash, EO, the yew tree, and also the word. In my booklet, you will also find a table with the names of the worlds there for the additional, you know, to have the additional concepts depending how you experiment with them. What are you painting? Are you casting them? Are you trying to understand the energy of the runes? So whatever you like to do with them, it's gonna be there in the table. You're not gonna find bind runes yet because that would be completely another book. That one's gonna take me a few months for sure. Meaning the world tree, also that one of those world Yggdrasil, and then you have a description also about the words there, means hidden knowledge, wisdom, initiation, self-discipline, perseverance, immortality. There is a lot you can do with that rune. The unity, will of life and death, the gate between life and death, bow and arrow, stamina, sacrifice, growth of strength through understanding, and good contact with your emotions, transformation, achieving the goal, winning situation, everlasting life. The color is dark blue, so I'm still in the color black, dark green too. Tree, yew, aspen, direction, east, responsible for relationship, or northeast, knowledge. Matter, all of the elements you can connect, combine. So if you work with Feng Shui, you can use anything. Matter, material property. It leads you to successful end, to the winning, to achieving of your goal. But be aware, because of the certain energies, a lot of runes are leading you to the success, but it's a different energy behind that one. And for example, Sowillo, we will get to that. Profession, mystic, magician. Relations, contact with the unseen world, unseen entities, subconscious mind, emotions. So here, you know, like in the Jung, you go and you also face different entities, also sub-personalities within yourself, the good ones, the bad ones. That's the moment when you grab also the energy of your so-called enemy. You turn your enemy into your ally. You gain the power from them. You know how to manage power, not necessarily turn anger into love, not that kind of transformation, but it's more like turning anger into being assertive. So using the primal energy more. So that's all happening here with that rune. And also I can the tree portrays that, because you can work on a subconscious level, go deep inside, travel to those worlds. I will be talking about it because it's also here. It is connection to all the world, you know, downward, the upper world, and the middle world, and also draw the knowledge from them. So this is enormous knowing, enormous knowledge you can get with working with that rune. Health. Support process of digestion, heals liver, maintains longevity, removes alignments related to the gallbladder and bile secretion processes. Okay. Amulet protection from crash, doubt, genetic diseases, and fear of death. It is talisman for mystics, magicians, clergy, because it brings power of the spirit, good insight, bravery. I would say anyone who's working with energy and wisdom and trying to understand, and the philosophers, I would add a lot more. But in the booklet you have the basic knowledge, so you're not too much like, you know, have imposed by me ideas or something I experience. Of course, that's interesting for you. I will share more, but I want you to have the purest concept, so you can draw and experiment with your own energy connected with the runes. Reverse rune means chaos, negative emotions, capitulation, weakening of the will, confusion, loss of power, depression, departure, deception, greediness, disappointment, of course. So in magic, it is used for protection from detrimental forces, increasing your personal power, vision, memories of past lifetimes, and knowledge about your ancestors. Even though you're not going to have bind rune, I painted one connected with the one to Risa's before. It looks like that, more or less. That's a being drawn. So that strengthens the protection from the evil forces. While connecting with other runes, EIHWAZ keeps the magic together within reasonable bounds. You cannot exaggerate with that one. It helps to penetrate all three realms, as I mentioned, the heaven, earth, and the underworld. A lot depends on the rune caster. Her flame of EIHWAZ must be ignited by discipline, so not everyone will like it because it takes a daily practice to master that. Mental toughness, yet flexibility, independence, and of course, consciousness. And how to draw that rune? So on the left side, right here, you have the drawing. Here you have coloring it. So you can stop right here and make a copy from my little drawing. I hope it's correct. You start with an upper one, and then the second one, a number number 3 is down, and then you start from the bottom, and you continue up and down. Okay, now let's get to the rune that some people are afraid of because it's pretty dark. And for that, I will change my color for the black, because this is how mostly is described that rune, PERDO. Let's get to PERDO. And with that rune, I actually like to paint it in a blue. For me personally, it's more with blue, but I also did it with black. It looks perfectly fine to me. So that was my, of course, first experimenting with painting. And then I continue a little bit more, so it looks like that. I hope you can still find it in that drawing. And I continue slightly more. So this is more or less how it looks like. And phonetic value for that one is P. Active time, 20th of October to 3rd of November, or 13th of January to 28th of January. So if it's your rune, whether you're born here or here, check which one fits you better. Literal meaning, Germanic PERDO, device for casting lots. Gothic PAIRTRA, dice cup, if you can pronounce it. I think Polish and Italian are good with pronouncing, probably Russians here. Old English, PERD, PERD, PERD. Well, you can make it a little bit, you know, Old English, so I'm sure there is sort of like PERF, PORF, PERD, PORD, probably like that. Okay, I'm not invested in that, so I'm going to leave that to you. You can always correct me here. Meaning and symbols. Noras, they were those Noras sitting there and casting and, you know, the building up that net of destiny. It means a lot. Dice cup, fate, primal law of cause and effect. So some say karma, but it's a different karma than in Catholic Church. It's for this cause and effect. Time, the cosmic womb. Intuition, understanding, meditation, stroke of luck, the realization of hidden talents, magic, parapsychology, respect, insight, sociability, and color black. Also green and silver. Tree, aspen, beech, golden rose. Direction, south, southeast means prosperity. Northeast, knowledge. Element is water, so it's very smooth, you know, it's all this net of how the destiny will play out for you. Matter, material prosperity, favorable twists of fate, fulfilling dreams, hidden possibilities, breaking the habitual course of the life or routine. So if the luck is by your side, you can use it very well. Profession person, psychic, cards reader, astrologist, musician, clown, relations. It protects you from false friends. Of course, if you have the knowledge and you know how to use the divination power and you read cards, that will protect you from false friends. It helps also to gain help from friends, from positive social contacts, helps women to find themselves in the role of mother or a partner. Health. It strengthens vitality, immunology system, life force, adds energy, confidence, stability, and feeling of happiness. It is amulet protection against isolation, emptiness, amulet protection from, of course, talisman for actors, children, players. It brings, of course, the winning, wisdom, trust, creating your own destiny. Reverse rune means inauspicious time, misuse, dependence, false friends, black magic, stagnation, loneliness, misfortune, crime, dangerous, occult experiments. So if you don't know what you're doing and you try to do it with other, and this is occult, yeah, I would say don't do it. But of course, if you do it, that's the energy of the reverse rune that will come back with guests, unwanted guests to the house. And you need to ward them off. So this one is too much, of course, loaded with connotations of predetermination, predestination. But it's more about the results of our actions in the multiverse and common natural law. So it is not like in a Catholic chart predestination, but more like in a Sanskrit karma, cause and effect. Divination and synchronicity is related to this rune, but it's more about understanding our activities' results in time, being aware of the forces around us, how they influence us, how we influence them, what are our reactions, actions toward them. And here, from my perspective as a card reader, I can tell that this is why it's so easy to predict, which I don't want to do, and I always say I don't do. Because, you know, I give you just one example. If someone comes to me and he wants, for example, find a job and ask me, will I find a job when I get a job? And the cards say that there is a plenty of job and there will be opportunity, and there is a few opportunities, but I see also that this person is not really into working at all. Because let's say he wants to stay home, for example, or just have something else in mind, wants to go to the university, whatever. So, of course, it's easy to predict that this person won't get that job. In the end, the working not going to happen. However, I rather focus, and that's why you can see how people read cards. You can differentiate. Because if someone comes and you just say, yeah, it will happen, or no, it won't happen. That's why I don't like this predetermination, because it depends on so many aspects. I know why it's not going to happen. But if I explain that why, this person may consciously make another decision instead of forcing herself or himself into getting that particular job, can think of other solutions in that current moment. So this is that predetermination. If we understand how it works, all those, you know, nets, those lines, and I think I portrayed the best in this painting, where you are open, but you also within yourself, you are gaining from the different source of knowledge, and you see how those lines are developing into your reality, then you, of course, can draw better conclusion and therefore act better in the world. The misery lies, of course, in deducing the post-cosmic pattern of becoming that, yeah. But it also has a lot to do with perception. If you follow it, if you follow that rule, it is like sitting with enlightened ones and drinking from that, you know, cup of consciousness. But of course, if you misunderstand Pedro, then you're just lost in addictions and insisting on constant pleasures and life. And this is how it's acting in the world. It's like, you know, like people who wants to, let's say, like be into elite or something special or royal or famous. And without gaining this deeper feeling, this consciousness about themselves, they often land there and the world is still flat. The world is still not what it's supposed to be. The excitement is gone, is empty. And this is this misunderstanding of the Pedro. Yeah, okay. I think that's enough about that one. So here is how you start to carve it. And let me show you that right. And again, I hope it's clear, even though my handwriting is a little bit messy here more. I try to make sure that you have the right. So here is the carving, here is the coloring. So you can stop, you can draw it, you can have it. In the book that I mentioned, you have a description. You don't have paintings here. So you start with the stroke. Vertical. Yeah, it's a little bit upside down because then you paint this and then sorry, this one and this one. So yeah, I know it's messy. So when I didn't know anything about it, I just did this and it was working. So this is about the PERDO. Let's move on to the beautiful rune, and for that I have to change the color because it's so beautiful rune and it's going to protect you. So get the protection with the rune number 15 in Futark, AlGIZ. AlGIZ is, oh my god, I hope I'm not going to knock out a lot of materials I prepared to show you today. So this is the rune of the AlGIZ. No, this is my sweater actually, but the rune is color yellow and gold, but we will get to that very slowly. The letter is Z. And the active time is 6th of January till 19th of January, or 28th of January to 13th of February. Pick which version fits you better, how you feel, what energy fits you better, if this one or something else. So you're also going to have that table at the end of the booklet with exactly only the timing, only the sources. Literal meaning, elk protection, and my first rune looked like that, also like that. Here are the paintings, the pictures of it, my very first. It also means swan in a Gothic AlGIZ, but in AlGIZ in Germanic means elk and protection. Also in English, elk. I hope I pronounce it right, but you get it in the book, promise. Old Norse, Iwar, probably. Meaning symbols, elk, antlers, swan, protection of self and those close ones. And here you have also, for the better feeling, that's in the script, but that's another version of it. You have AlGIZ right here, it's here. It means instinct, intuition, natural protection against harmful forces, protection from nature and spiritual forces, resistance, psychological strength, contact with the higher self, optimism. Sorry, it doesn't mean protection from spiritual forces, it means spiritual forces. There should be a comma in between. So contact with higher self. Here is the example of the bind rune. So, you know, here is actually the rune in all the direction and it's connected. So now you have as a bind rune. Contact with the higher self, optimism, contact with the superhuman, contact with the higher, yeah, that's one already I said. Healing means also healing abilities. Color, also, besides yellow and gold, silver, rainbow, white, black. I have no idea why black. Don't ask me about black here. Tree, cane, mountain ash, yew. Direction, center or any direction that requires currently protection. Element, air, matter, material property. Plants rooted in reality, evokes creativity. It's good for your intellect, draws lucky coincidence. You must carry it for the lucky coincidence on yourself, the best. Successful outcome, success and intellectual work protects you, protects also your prosperity, your possessions, your rooms, and it is for therapists, healers, guardians, also bioenergotherapists. Relationships, encourages protective instinct to people, animal, or environment. Health, strengthen mental power, ability to heal, adds vitality, it calms, it harmonizes your psyche, works against depression, and maintains inner balance. It is amulet protection from risks and happiness, toxic radiation. Here, it's very much, you can compare it to Hagalas. We had that one already, that you put in the house when you know that there is a higher amount of radiation. It is talisman for protectors, bodyguards, guardians, because it brings you safety, bravery. Yeah, it can be reversed. It means then lack of protection, failure by revealing your plans to other people, misuse, loss, uprooting, deception, false pity, depression, of course, and worries. So this rune is mostly used also in attacks, in defense and protection. I wouldn't use it like for attacks, but it's protecting by attacking. It was carved into spears. This protection is on any level, spiritual, physical, and also collective. It means also magical wand. It was used in Germanic paganism. So you must remember, this is not grabbing AlGIZ by working with it. It's not AlGIZ somewhere there, but it's becoming AlGIZ. You must become that energy in order to protect yourself. It's also your instinct. And be aware that that the look of this rune reminds the gesture of how many traditions, also Germanic, people were communicating with the divine. So, you know, this is this gesture, opening the hands up in the sky. It allows you to travel into other worlds, especially commune with gods, entities that are higher, more knowledgeable, more conscious, vibrate on whatever level you wish to gain. This power is from the higher sources to bring them into your becoming, into your realization of your plans, and so on. And here is, if you are interested, of course, make a copy of that, how you carve it. I'm sorry for my paper by now, so smashed by this point. So here it is, how you carve it. You start with the vertical one, down, and then up, up. And here, I hope this is still clear, more or less, how you carve it. So you go up, the first one goes up, and then the bow goes down. That's why, I'm sorry, the arrows are a little bit here messed up, because the both lines just go down to meet the first one. Okay, the last one, Sowillo, is also beautiful yellow color. And let's get into that one. So that was my first, and this was my first experimenting with this one. Looked more or less like this. But also, you will find a lot of bindrums. And this rune was, yeah, Mr. H by the Second World W was interested for the YouTube. Of course, I'm saying some of the words that I'm not supposed to say on YouTube in a code. I hope you understand. He was mostly interested in Sowillo, but he doubled it. There is a bindrum when you find 3 Sowillos together. 1, 2, 3. And I also did it. And I played also with a little bit, not carved, by also, you know, more fluid shapes. This is the same, but in a different combination. That's more fluid signs. Here you have just pure Sowillo, but I used also number 3 instead of 2, like our Mr. H in time of travel. And here also, there's also bindrum, because you have here, here, and here. So these were a lot of creativity with that rune, because we love that rune, all of you. And if you know that rune already, so that's just with the points, that is also Sowillo. So the phonetic value is S. Active time 21st of May to 4th of June, or 13th of February to 27th of February. Literal meaning means sun. Gothic, Saugil, also sun, all of them, ears and Norse, all of them, sun, sun, sun. Keywords: victory, lightning, self-confidence, ego boosting, willpower, profit, life-affirming energy, success, fame, recognition, popularity, artistic talents, goal realization, energy. Besides yellow and gold is also white and silver. Tree, anonymous, U, mountain, ash. If I didn't pronounce it right, you will have it in the table. You already have. Once I publish it, give me just a little bit more time. Maybe by the time I release that video, it's going to be already published on my website. Direction, south, means respect and recognition, south. And south is related, of course, with element fire, and it fits here too. Matter, property, winning power for realization of any of your goal, meant to inspire, give hope, optimism, joy, gives you extra energy for action, artistic talent, appreciation, confidence, self-confidence, of course, successful trip, especially over water. People, person, profession, photographer, sportsman, artist, lamplighter. I think anyone, but that's just mine. Relations with other people. It is seeing people for who they are. So you're shining so brightly with that energy that you just don't go into conflicts. You just see who they are and you choose the better path because you're very much focused on your goal and realization of your plans. Health. Support inhalation regulates the flow of the energy in the body, improves chakras functioning, concentration, do not heal fever with the sun. That's the only thing here. Amulet protection from bad decisions, inertia, heart diseases. It is talisman for authority, mediators, moderators, and many others, let's say, any artists. And because it brings fame, recognition, publicity, honors, but also commitment. So it's a responsible rune. Reverse, egoism, self-importance, overestimation of the self, blind activity, megalomania, lust for power, lack of goal, stagnation, hard work with no results, laziness, self-praise. And also, some say you cannot reverse this one. Well, Mr. H reversed it by his doing. Yeah. So yeah, you can reverse that. You can go wrong with that one too. So it is a counterbalance of the Isa. Remember that cold, freezing energy. And then remember, in order to win, there is a necessity to deal with the dark forces. Sowillo counters all dark forces, not by fighting it. Just remember that. So dealing is not by fighting them. Success comes from fixed concentration of your goal. So you keep on going toward the light. You are light, you go toward the light, you have more light. Keep going up. You keep going, you keep going. That's how it works here. Archetypal sun is also expressed as solar wheels, also called chakras here. So therefore, you can use to strengthen them. So here, the sun and solar power are among Germanic people attributes of feminine power. It's also power of lightning bolt, or some compare it to Teresa's, that protection brought by Teresa's. But Teresa's is chaotic force, and Sowillo is very active, dynamic, and focused on your goal force. So it became a victory rune. It's like a winning without fighting. And previously, that winning was attributed to Tyr. That will be the next one, but I will tell you about it the next time. For now, I'm very curious what is going on with experimenting with runes. How did it go? What impressions you have? Do you have any questions? Let me know about it, and I will be glad to answer them in the next videos. So stay well, wherever you are, and have a prosperous time. Bye-bye.